Cause I be sparking and busting mad like inside the dark. Call me Bill Snatcher, just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my state like a lot.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, and this is going to be the first of two videos I'm going to be doing today. I know the last couple of days where I said I'm going to double upload, I've not actually fallen through. Part of the reason for that is honestly I just needed some rest, but today I'm going to be doing two videos because I've not talked about the manga in a minute because of everything that's happened in the anime, but I saw quite a few comments on this that actually came across my timeline to where I said, okay, I got to go ahead and talk about this right now, which is a lot of people are concerned that with Boruto episode 204, now that we're at the point where they're getting ready to start adapting chapter 39, people feel like the Boruto anime is moving too fast and that the anime, by announcing the Kawaki arc, the Isshiki Otsutsuki resurrection arc, that essentially we're in a situation where the anime is gonna catch the manga too quickly. And I'm gonna say right now, all this talk of Boruto's anime going on hiatus, a lot of people have compared this to Black Clover. I'm gonna tell you why I don't think that that's gonna be the case, and I think a lot of people are overreacting. I'm gonna share some information that a lot of Western fans aren't aware of. So let's just start with that part first. So the reason why I don't have a lot of worry that the Boruto anime is gonna be going on hiatus is Boruto's anime. So on top of it being the #1 grossing anime as well as the #1 most profitable anime on TV Tokyo, Boruto's beating out the likes of the Naruto franchise, as well as beating out Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bleach, Black Clover for the most profitable anime by gross, and then the most profitable anime by total sales and revenue, and then Boruto's beating out Naruto, Pokemon, Black Clover, and Yu-Gi-Oh! For the top gross profit / margin. Because of how much money Boruto has made, I don't think that the anime is going to be getting pulled, because again, this is literally TV Tokyo's breadwinner right now. These are recent stats. Essentially pulling Boruto out of TV Tokyo's lineup is like pulling Devin Booker out of the fourth quarter when you got a close game for the Phoenix Suns. It ain't happening. On top of that, Boruto's anime literally just picked up an additional time slot to air more episodes on television for TV Tokyo, another prime viewing demographic slot on Sunday mornings to air additional episodes, which is going to increase its actual reach. That's not something you would do if you're anticipating this series going on hiatus at this rate sometime in the fall. That's not something you would actually do. Now, moving on a little further, so now that we've gotten the profit incentive out of the way, I do understand why a lot of people are worried though, because if you look at the Isshiki Otsutsuki resurrection arc, this is something that very likely is going to take us up to chapter 55 or chapter 56, and that's why a lot of people are worried, because right now the manga is only on chapter 59, and so you're in a situation where, oh snap, the anime is running way too close to the actual manga. And this is why people have presented the Black Clover situation where, oh, Black Clover was weekly and Black Clover went on break, and I've seen a few people that are OGs like myself saying like, hey, you know, Fairy Tail had this problem, and Fairy Tail went on break for about a year, let the manga get further ahead, and then Fairy Tail came back with Fairy Tail Series 2. Now, the reason why I don't think that's going to happen with Boruto is Boruto and Black Clover and Fairy Tail are in two different situations. Black Clover and Fairy Tail were running on a weekly basis, and in the case of Fairy Tail, say what you want about Hiro Mashima, but Hiro Mashima was legendary for, there were times where the guy would drop double chapters and each chapter would still be 16 to 18 pages, but the guy's work ethic is absolutely insane. Whereas some mangaka would struggle to meet the weekly deadline, the guy would have chapters in advance, and just like I get impatient and I'll drop extra videos because I'm tired of sitting on them, Hiro Mashima would have chapters done and just drop them. So Fairy Tail had a plethora of content. And then when you look at Black Clover, Black Clover's mangaka is a weekly mangaka, which means that there's additional content for the actual series to do. With Boruto being monthly, there's not going to be as much content to actually build up for to allow the manga to get further ahead. Then you let the anime come back and start adapting that. So the reason why that's important to keep in mind is, say the anime goes on hiatus for a year, that's 12 months, and based on how things are done in the actual manga, and based on the fact that the anime, unless they do something like a car actuation arc where they do a prelude warm-up arc before you get into the main stuff, the fact is that you're in a situation where once they get into the manga content, chances are, just how you had this last arc where it's pretty much adapted everything and you've had a couple episodes here or there where there's been additional stuff kind of thrown in there, you're going to be in the same situation you're in now. So why am I so confident that this can actually work? Well, when you look at chapter 55 and you look at what happens in chapter 56, there's enough of a stopgap right there to where when everybody gets back into Konoha, and I don't want to go into spoilers because I don't want to actually spoil the anime only viewers, because this is technically an anime video, but once everybody gets back to Konoha, because of everything that's happened, and because you have a situation with the character of Code, to where Code has to do some traveling, and we don't know how much time actually passes between when Code gets his mission and Code goes to that place where the manga makes it seem like it's right then and there. Because it's an unspecified amount of time, the anime can actually milk that. And I'll go a step further as well, because in the manga we know that there's a time skip sometime this year. I would not be surprised if Masashi Kishimoto, now that he's somebody who is writing the actual Boruto manga story, he's not drawing it, but he is writing the Boruto manga, because he's somebody that understands that. I would not be surprised if he did the same thing he did with the Naruto manga, which is in the Naruto manga, it's either chapter 237 and 238, I'm doing this off the top of my head, but in chapter 237 or 238, that's the chapter where Tsunade looks over at Sakura and says like, wow, for the last 3 months she's really come along in her training. The reason why that's important is the chapter right before that is Jiraiya telling Naruto like, hey, when you get out the hospital, I'm gonna take you to go train. The manga makes it seem like the events happen right next to each other. If you miss that line, which a lot of people missed, then you would not understand that there was a 3-month time skip. I would not be surprised if the Boruto manga, as we get closer to the actual time skip, the Boruto manga ends up throwing in a line saying like, yeah, it's been X amount of months since this event happened here, or it's been such a long while ago, or it's been a short time ago. However they decide to actually word that. The reason why that's so important is that's room to actually build in for filler / anime original content. Now that's not to say that we're going to be in a situation where, just like with Naruto, where we have all these mindless random filler episodes that last for like 80 episodes, 80 something weeks, a year and a half. I'm not saying that that's the situation you're looking at for the Boruto franchise, because where Naruto was during that time when the Naruto anime was giving the manga room to get ahead, and where Boruto is right now, is two completely different situations. It's like trying to compare the rules for the NBA and the rules for the NFL. It's two different situations, and I will explain to you why. So when Naruto was in that situation, the only source material that you had to go off of was the actual manga. There weren't Naruto light novels out there. The data book information that you had in Naruto Data Book 1 and Data Book 2, there wasn't enough additional information there to reasonably be able to flesh stuff out. The little bit of stuff that you did have, they did try and do in the Naruto anime, like when you had the guy talking about the bombs he was putting all over the Land of Fire and how he remembered the time of the First Great Ninja War. It's little small things like that. Yes, you had a little bit where you could pull from some data book stuff and play around with the actual story in that way. Well, with Boruto, we have a director who has been on record saying like, yeah, when I take over, I'm giving you straight manga material, which is what he's done. And he's also said more than once he's a fan of the actual light novels. And since he's taken over, we've had 2 light novels adapted in Boruto. There are a total of 5 novels that are set after the versus Momoshiki arc. Really a total of 6, but there are 5 more that have not been adapted into the actual story yet, that the anime can just change things around a little bit to fit the actual anime timeline placement, like they did with the Mirai Sarutobi novel. Just as they changed that from being in the Naruto chapter 700 portion, that's when that novel should have taken place. So the reason why I say that is they changed in the anime to where that novel took place after the versus Momoshiki arc. You can twist things around to where if you want to play around with Sasuke Shinden, you can. If you want to play around with Shikamaru Shinden, you can. You can twist stuff around. The Boruto anime director has said when asked that he loves the Naruto Retsuden trilogy, which I've been covering here on the channel. I've covered Sasuke Retsuden in full. I'm almost done covering Kakashi Retsuden, and later on this year I'll be doing Naruto Retsuden. Well, the thing about that is that there's enough content there to where you would be able to, if you did those novels properly and you did 5 or 6 episodes per novel and just hit on the key points, so you're not obviously going to cover each individual scene that's in those 200 something page light novels, but instead you're in a situation where 5 to 6 episodes per novel, that gets you up to about 18 episodes, which is enough for a Blu-ray release or for a digital home media release, much in the same way that people thought the car actuation arc was going to be a shorter arc when it was running, and people called me crazy when I said, like, no, this arc ain't gonna end at episode 166. This arc is gonna continue closer to the 180s. I wasn't that far off. I said the reasoning for it, they want to milk this as long as they can in order to get a home media release. You have enough content there to where you can actually do it, and you can actually twist that around enough to where if you set those novels in the anime after the events that happen in chapter 55 and chapter 56, one of the ways that you deal with the ramifications of what happens there is you introduce the story of Naruto's chakra illness, and that gives you an opportunity to talk about the situation with the Sage of Six Paths and what happened with him. You can twist that around enough to where you're dealing with the remnants of chakra that was inside of Naruto for such a long time, and there's an after effect of what happened with Naruto's character at the climax of the arc that we just finished. So you do have an opportunity to twist that around and make that work for the actual anime story. So I say that to say this new director's shown us time and time again that he's not going to drop the ball for us, and I don't see this man fumbling in the end zone. I don't see that happening. I think that this is somebody that can kind of push us all the way through, and then once we do start getting anime original content, there's enough room there to where I really think that this could be somebody that if we got to go a year or a year and a half with anime original content, there's enough source material out there with other light novels and with other content that's there. I think that we're in good hands here. This is somebody that can really drive us home and give the manga room to actually get ahead. However, I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think about this suggestion? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.